And we're back with Qhotl. With the Qitari. Oh, Serenia, on behalf of all the stewards, I thank you for your tireless efforts. You have our sincerest gratitude. Indeed, we Qitari must bear the responsibility of having spread the pox to these parts of the forest. Finally, we have brought this painful chapter of our history to a close, and we could not have done so without your invaluable aid. At first I feared we might damage our relationship with the Knight's Bless and the V's beyond repair. Instead we have managed to overcome the plague together, and in doing so, the time-tested bonds between our peoples are stronger than ever before. I traveled to Sliverbow and Phanom all the time to share tidings from the forest with my newfound friends. And with the guidance of a great serpent, we have reclaimed long-lost knowledge, not just of our own kind, but of great Ronka itself. In studying the restored stela, I have had occasion to reflect and ruminate on the history of the Empire. It truly was a great civilization, controlling and exerting influence over all of ancient Northrend. It was a civilization of great enlightenment, welcoming myriad peoples and uniting them under a single banner to live in peace and prosperity. Whom and these, Qitari and Ronso, living side by side and working towards a common good. The artistic and academic accomplishments of the Empire were many, and yet this, its greatest strength, would also prove its downfall, or so my theory holds. As the Empire expanded and the years went on, once strong friendships and alliances began to turn sour. Small disagreements flared into all-out conflicts, and Ronka, once akin to a mighty tree that seemed as if it would stand forever, began to splinter from within. I imagine Ronka in its final years withered and dying. No doubt the Emperor sat on his throne waiting in vain for the arrival of one who would restore his empire to its former glory. Waiting for the ally of Ronka. Compared to the long and storied history of Ronka, my 4 years seem as insignificant as a drop of water in a great gushing river. I understand the sentiment, my boy, but it is not so. While the lifespan of any one Qitari may be short, we must never underestimate the value of our shared knowledge and wisdom, accumulated through our many experiences and recorded for the sake of posterity. Just as our forefathers did their part to shape the course of Ronkan history, so, too, will the discoveries you have made serve to forge the future of our people and the Great Wood itself. But we must not forget our friends and allies. Without those aid, we may not have survived to see this day. But I trust you to convey our gratitude to them on my behalf, Chaqurl. But of course, Father, consider our gratitude conveyed. Ever learning, I see. Serenia might have trusted to escort my son to Phanom. I would not be able to forgive myself if anything unfortunate happened to him on this day of triumph. Come, Serenia, Master Lanier will be overjoyed to see us, I'm sure. It pleases me to hear that all is well at the stopple. We are honored to have done our small part to be of service to our Qitari friends. Never did I think I would live to see this age-old alliance of Ronka rekindled. For us as well, Master Lanier, from ancient rituals to the remedies that eased our pain in trying times, there's so much wisdom that we learned from you. I'm certain this is only the start of a long and fruitful friendship. You are wise beyond your years, my young friend. There's much that you and your people have already taught us. Promise that you will continue to share with us your gleanings from history, that we might put them to use ourselves in protecting and preserving our forest home. It would be an honor. All's well with Ansel, yes? And now I do believe the time has finally come that I stop tarrying and take to the road. Are you going somewhere, my good Madame Fina? I will depart on a journey that has been far too long in the making. I intend to travel beyond the Great Woods reaches in search of these who live scattered across the land. If they might join us here in Raktika to together preserve and pass down the wisdom of Ronka. Fano has always been my home, and will not be easy for me to leave it behind. And yet, I will leave with the knowledge that the forest is in good hands. Promise me that you will not let Siona get into too much trouble, yes? I dare say you are the one who needs looking after, sister. Perhaps I should accompany you? Rest assured I'm more than capable of taking care of myself. Forgive me if I refrain from stepping in the midst of a sibling squabble. Go in safety, Fina, and know that the azure blooms will always guide you home. Thank you, Master Lanier. I will return. And with that, I'd best be off, before I find another reason to delay my journey any longer. Young Chaqurl, Serenia, promise me that you will be well. Fina. And you as well, Siona. No matter how far my journey may carry me, know that a part of me is always here with you. And I with you, sister. Saying goodbye is not easy, is it? But it's time we return to the road again ourselves. We must pay our respects to Vala and Kinford after all. Very well. We will not keep you any longer. Do pass along our respects to our friends in Sliverbow. I was not certain what to think of at Queenford at first, but he has proved a loyal friend. But of course, should you ever have time to come visit Father and I, nothing would make me more happy than to be able to show you around the stopple. Master Valen, are you certain you should be up and about like this? Have no worries, my little friend. I'm feeling like my old self again. I hear that all's well again in the stopple, too. It's truly a relief. I shudder to think of what would have happened to all of us here in the Great Wood if you hadn't made your discovery. Truly, we owe a debt of gratitude to your ancestors and their wisdom. And truly, we all owe a debt to the great serpent of Ronka. By those divine auspices, young Chaqurl was led to the stela on which the cure was inscribed. Yes, praise be to the serpent, praise be. Do you think you could keep your voice down a bit? Some of us are still recuperating from a life-threatening plague, you know? Speaking of which, Chaqurl, whatever made you think that little fellow was the great serpent in the first place? When Queenford first started rambling on to that end, I thought he'd finally lost the last of his wits. An excellent question, Valan, and one I have been giving some thought myself. Father has always told me tales of how the Ronkans worship the great serpent as their guardian and protector, but there were no clear records of its physical appearance. On the night that darkness returned to the sky, the small creature we now know well arrived before us wearing that curious hat. Intrigued, I followed after it. It led me through the revel, where I saw that passage to our ancestral homeland was at long last open once more. Jumping for joy, I picked the small creature up and ran home to share the news with father. With a tear in his eyes, he gazed at me deeply and spoke these words. The great serpent itself has arrived to guide us home. In that moment, I knew it must be so. A moment of divine inspiration, no doubt, and not altogether unlike my own. Yes, it's most fascinating indeed. In my own case, the great serpent has appeared before me in my vision for as long as I can remember. Time and again it shared with me the words of wisdom that I have so dutifully recorded as the Gospel of Qhotl. One day it called out to me with a terrifying squee, warning of a great calamity that was to befall the Greatwood if I did not rise to action. It was shortly after that we came upon the tiny creature in the forest, and I recognized it immediately as the incarnation of our divine protector. It is clear now that all was leading up to this day. Its first appearance in my visions, our meeting, all has been part of a great serpent's grand design to restore peace, harmony, and prosperity to the forest. Truly, we would never have been able to rediscover our history, nor overcome the spread of a plague were it not for the serpent's guidance and wisdom. Clearly, your forefathers revered the great serpent as well. Why else would they have engraved the tomb of final stela, buried deepest and furthest from the Sin-Eater's reach? Now, this immaculately preserved stela stands before us as an incontrovertible proof that this tiny creature is indeed that which we all instinctively perceived it to be. The manifestation of Ronka's divine protector who has come once more in our hour of need to guide our peoples through trying times and into a new generation of peace and prosperity. Squee! Last time, after its work was done, the great serpent left us, going off to some place where only gods dare to tread. Actually, it's just been following Serenia about on her adventures, you know? What nonsense is this, Valan? Clearly the great serpent has been watching over us all this time. In any event, it's clear that we owe the serpent a great debt of gratitude. It would be remiss of us not to make a pilgrimage to a site where we might properly pay obeisance. I would like nothing more than to pay Sabin's Master Qhotl, but there's no telling where the serpent has gone. Where might we go that it might hear our words? Fear not, my young Qitari friend, for I know just the place. The ancestral strumbling place of the great serpent, the mighty crystal that has appeared before me time and again in my visions. I speak of none other than the fruit of a protector cradled amid the waters of Lake Tusi-Mekta. Val and I make the trek there nigh every day to express our gratitude to the great serpent for deigning to share its divine guidance with us. Don't look at me like that, Serenia. I didn't go every time, and when I did, it was just to keep Qhotl here out of trouble. And just how should we go about expressing our gratitude to the great serpent? An astute question, my young friend. If you wish, I would be happy to share with you some choice passages from the Gospel of Qhotl that would be most suitable for the occasion. For example, there is chapter 15, verse 5, which begins as follows. O hearken unto the heavenly scree. Never mind Qhothl's rambling. I'm sure the serpent would appreciate it all the more if you thanked it in your own words, and so would the rest of us. Trust me. Thank you, Alan. I believe I will do just that. Well, here I am, but what words can truly convey my feelings to the great serpent? Could just say, thank you. Perhaps I should just keep it simple, yes. Oh, great serpent, thank you ever so much for watching over us. You have my most sincere gratitude. It was by your guidance that my people have reclaimed our history, and that I have made so many new friends and allies. I promise we will never forget you, and to pass on tales of you for generations and generations to come. What's happening? Do you think the serpent heard my words? Squeak, scream. When the crystal glimmed and glowed, it almost felt like it was speaking to me. Do you believe this means the serpent heard my words? At the very least, I take heart in knowing that I have conveyed my thanks to the serpent and to all our new friends throughout the forest. And with this, I can return to Father and the stopper with my head held high. I cannot thank you enough for accompanying my son throughout the forest. To the end, you have gone above and beyond on our behalf. It is a debt of gratitude the Qitari will not soon forget. In reclaiming our heritage and history, we have also rekindled time-honored bonds of friendship with our fellow residents of Raktika. The Knights Blessed, the V's, the Great Serpent, and not the least of all Serenia, ally of Ronka. All have played part in events that will be etched in the annals of history. Yes, the steward shall see to it that these events are handed down to our children and our children's children, and so long until after we ourselves are gone. You have our word. In the meantime, we shall continue our excavation of the tunnels beneath the stopple. I've even considered commissioning the creation of a new stela on which all we have gleaned in recent days may be recorded for posterity. Father and I might not have seen eye to eye in our interpretation of history, but I can assure you that we are of a like mind regarding the future we would forge for our people. Oh, how you have grown, Chaqurl. Its nigh brings a tear to my eye. Thank you for everything, Serenia. I know there's many places you must journey, but know that you will always have a home here in the stopple. Is that not so, O Great Serpent? Everyone bows before the Great Serpent. Your reputation has increased to Bloodsworn. Also a bit longer than I was expecting, so maybe I do it as a short separate episode. Anyway, until next time then, I'm Ace and don't get lost.